Okay, so when it comes to hitting a high note in a song, how many of you are like, I'm singing and it's time for the high note and I better get really ready to do it? And then you just sort of try to squeeze up to it. And that was an exaggeration, but this video is gonna be all about why you shouldn't approach high notes like that. And instead, I'm gonna give you my 3 tips for how to make sure hitting a high note is super easy so you never have to scrunch up or strain for it again. Quick little intro, because what's more fun than a little intro? That's right, LIL. My name is Felicia. You can call me Fel. I'm a professional voice finder. I help you find your voice because your voice is already there. Singing isn't some magical thing that just sort of lands on you one day. Everyone is born with the capability to sing and express themselves, and it's just my job to help you find that voice and get out of your own way and realize that singing is actually way easier than you thought. So high notes. When you're singing a song and there's like this high note that's written in it, why does it freak everybody out? Well, my guess is that usually a high note, when you look at music on the page, looks like it's very different from everything else, right? There's this big interval jump a lot of the time that you have to worry about as a singer. And a lot of times we don't know how to prepare for that mentally, and we don't know how to prepare for that technically. So this video is going to be all about basically how to do that, and it's actually really simple. So the first pre-tip I have for you that doesn't actually count as a tip is I want you to make sure that anytime you're singing, especially when it comes to high notes, you are engaging and using your breath support. Okay, that kind of goes without saying, but I did want to start with that because if you're reaching for any note and you're doing it from the throat and you don't have adequate breath to really create that support structure, then it's not going to happen. So that's my kind of pre-tip. My first tip that's specific to high notes has 2 parts to it, and they both revolve around this. When it comes to hitting a high note, you have to pretend that you're already at the note before you sing it. As pitches move up the scale, they actually move up our bodies. This is sort of in terms of where the sound resonates, okay? So resonance basically means where does a note echo on your body? Your body is an instrument, much like a guitar, right? A guitar string creates sound, but then it's up to the guitar's body to create that beautiful echo. So the same is true of your body. Your guitar string is your vocal fold, okay? But your body creates that resonance. So in your case, and in my case, and in all humans' cases, resonance occurs in your face, okay? Usually with high notes, we're dealing with higher up because as pitch moves up, it moves from your chest and your mouth up your face. It moves, it moves, it moves, it moves. It goes into head voice, it goes into head voice, it goes even higher. And you can sort of test yourself, and I'm really zipping through this concept. But just so you know, you need to create open space in your head in order for you to create higher pitches, okay? If this doesn't make sense still, I want you to check out my playlist on my YouTube channel about vocal range, and I will link in the description below. So this is kind of a crash course in vocal range and how to kind of release your face. But the more you get to know your range and what it feels like to sing higher, the more you'll realize that it really, really requires you to open your face, okay? And lift the back of your mouth, which is your soft palate. Kind of feels like yawning. It's pretty impossible to sing higher notes without creating that space because the sound doesn't have anywhere to echo. It kind of hits a ceiling. So here's where my tip comes in. When it comes to singing a high note, you might be singing lower down in your range, okay? And say you're aiming for a note that's an octave above, okay? You want to create the space as if you're already singing the high note when you're singing the low note. That way it's not a surprise. It's not like, I'm singing low and I'm not creating space because who cares because I'm singing low and then suddenly I have to find the space to sing higher. It's like, oh my God, I have to readjust. No, rather you want to anticipate it and open up the note before you have to go high. So while I'm singing low, I'm spacing out my face as if I'm already singing high, right? That way when it's time to sing high, I'm already there. There's no big leap in my face or physically. And then the second part of this is mental. So while you can create that sort of runway effect of already opening up physically, you can also do this mentally. And what I mean by that is you want to pretend you're singing high before you're actually singing high. And I know that this is like, what? Is that really going to help me? But believe me, it does. It takes away the sort of panic effect and also the feeling that suddenly this higher note is completely different. I'm really getting into these gestures today. But if you are sort of mentally already on that higher plane and you're singing low, but mentally you're already high, you already have that breath energy and that confidence that you're gonna need. The key is to bring it in before the note. Believe me, it'll help you so much more. My next two tips are very closely related, and they do have to do with the physical act of singing a high note. But the first part of it is really, really simple, okay? Well, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. It takes practice. But what I want you to do is once you mentally recalibrate that your high note is already there, you have the space, the next step is that while you actually go for the note, especially if it's a power note, if it's a money note that you really want to deliver, I want you to simply think down and think about your breath. So it's like you prepare the space, you're already high, and then you think down. If you think down, what happens is all the tension that could creep up in your face immediately leaves you. Because when you actually hit a high note, especially if it's a power note, you want to be as relaxed as possible. You can think of it kind of like you're a bobblehead, and the energy and power comes from your breath. So just going through that sequence again, it's okay, I'm physically open, I'm mentally already singing high, now I just need my breath energy and my body to get into it, so I'm going to think down. And then my note's going to come out really easily and there's no tension, right? And then tacking on the end of that is my third tip, and that is that scrunching your face is never going to help. I know that's something that everybody has done and sometimes does when you have a new song you're working on. You think, okay, if I just sort of help the note and I squeeze it out like toothpaste, then maybe that'll help it get out, but it's actually the opposite. And hopefully you've kind of seen that throughout this video, which is that space. Space and relaxation is what creates the sound. So if you see singers on YouTube or on TV who are really going for notes and going like that, they're hitting the note in spite of that face. That's sort of like tension that doesn't need to be there. And for you, I know you're better than that. I know you want to work on technique that doesn't require that really crazy sort of tense look in your face. So please don't make the mistake of thinking that, okay, if only I just tried harder up here, I'll get the note. So just remember, mentally and physically, anticipate that high note before it comes, then thrust your energy down so your head is like this really light bobblehead as you sing. So that's it, there you go. High notes are not even that scary. You just have to recalibrate the way you think of them. And then remember, your breath and your body and that energy and power is gonna come from down below. It's not gonna come from up here. Let me know if these tips made sense, if you've encountered that roadblock of thinking of high notes as being like super scary, and whether sort of putting this into your practice and the way you approach songs might be helpful for you. Definitely leave me a comment. Also, please leave me ideas for future videos. I get all of my ideas from you guys, so I would love to hear from you. And if you're digging this video, if you like the way I teach, please check out my channel. I post all kinds of singing tips videos and song breakdowns. It's really fun and I would love to have you join the community. A community. I don't know why I said it that way, but I did. Also, I teach a completely free belt singing course. It's a video course that has audio downloads and text guides, and it basically takes you through belt singing in the simplest and most effective way possible. And it really does sort of relate to this video about singing high. So if you want to learn more about the actual technique behind belting, sign up at beltingcrashcourse.com. It's totally free and I would love to have you. So thanks so much for tuning in, for continuing to watch my videos, and for asking such great questions. This video was a direct response to one of you guys, so I always appreciate your giving me ideas, and I will see you all very, very soon. Singing Transformation registration is opening back up soon, so for more information and free singer goodies from me, be sure to visit singingtransformation.com. I can't wait to see you guys.